What's up, EV Clan? Alex Espion here, and welcome back to the next episode of the Pokemon Gold Randomizer Nuzlocke. So in the last episode, we made some progress on this route below us, which is a water route. And at the end of the episode, we had to go back and heal because our Pokemon were looking just terrible. The team was in dire straits. Our health was low, and we just only had one Pokemon left that was really fit to fight. So, we went back to the Pokemon Center, and I bought some potions, because we were out of potions, too. That's another thing that was we need to get right back to town right now. We can't be on this route any longer. Our Pokemon's health was low, and we were out of potions. So I went back, and I bought some potions, and I healed up the Pokemon, and everything's good now, except at the end of the last episode, I actually forgot to see if I could buy repels, which I can, which is great, because I was saying in that episode how, the water, I don't know if it was in that episode or in an episode before that, but I was saying in one episode at least how I feel like you encounter things in the water more often than in another Pokemon game where there's large water routes, which is which is Gen 3, like Ruby, Sapphire, and Emerald. That game famously has a lot of water, so much so that there's the meme of 7 out of 10 too much water, which was a rating that was given to it unjustly, by the way. Gen 3 is probably one of, if not the best generations in Pokemon, so it definitely does not deserve a 7 out of 10, it deserves a 9 out of 10, quite honestly. Fantastic game. And certainly, too much water is not a reason to deduct very many points from it. I don't think there's nearly enough water to constitute hating the game, and that being a reason for it. I guess I didn't really hate the game, but just the fact that that is a reason why you would dislike the game is crazy when I feel there's honestly not that much water, and there is, I'd say, more than any other Pokemon game, but they still keep it fresh, I feel. None of the water routes feel all that repetitive. It's just okay, there's a bunch of water routes. It makes sense for the region and how they built the game. It is a game with surf and dive and tons of water HMs and water-related plot lines, so obviously it has a lot of water. The water's warm here. I'm loose and limber. Sure, I'll take you on. Honestly, it's a game where the legendaries are Pokemon of the sea and Pokemon of the ground and Pokemon of the sky, right? So certainly there has to be a lot of sea. I get why there's not a lot of sky, because it's hard to do actual plot lines in the sky. It's hard to make the story go into the sky, because, I mean, I guess that would have been really cool if you, had segments of it where you, explored the sky, too. But, the fact that the sea and the land are, even close to being, even in how much of it you explore, it would make sense. And I would even say, yes, there's a lot of sea, but there's not nearly as much sea in Pokemon Ruby, Sapphire, and Emerald as there is land. You don't spend nearly as much time on the sea as you do on the land, which I feel honestly doesn't make sense. Honestly, I think there should be more sea segments, because it is a game about the sea versus the land. Groudon versus Kyogre, so I feel it should be pretty even. I also think it's, speaking of evenness when it comes to Groudon and Kyogre, I think it's really funny how Kyogre and Groudon are fighting in the water, and Groudon is on Kyogre just has the entire ocean. Groudon is just on this tiny rock. It just feels so skewed towards Kyogre, this fight, because Kyogre just destroys that one rock. Groudon goes plummeting into the water and just freaking dies. In general, it's really interesting to me when the legendaries are opposing forces, but one is just straight up strong against the other. It's why are they even opposing? Why doesn't one just completely dominate the other? Why doesn't Xerneas just absolutely wreck Yveltal, you know? It's a fairy type versus a dark type. I get that they're opposing forces and they're supposed to be equally powerful, but Xerneas should just absolutely slay Yveltal. Yeah, I mentioned in a past episode how, I've been watching Yu-Gi-Oh! GX recently, and, once again, this is going to be an episode where there's just going to be a lot of talking from me, because, this is a big water route, and it's going to be boring to go through it, and there's not going to be much to commentate on besides the occasional trainer fight, so I just want to talk about Yu-Gi-Oh! GX today, because I like the show a lot. Yikes, I've got prune skin! Isn't it relaxing just floating like this? I'm sure I've, like, taken on that trainer before, but I guess I just, like, didn't. Maybe I, like, think I've taken on more trainers on this route than I have. I know there are a lot of branching paths, so maybe I just haven't been down this way exactly. Maybe I, like, went past that guy, like, to the right of him or something. Just didn't notice he was there. I'm on my way to Whirl Islands. I'm going exploring with friends. But yeah, if you want to... If you have never watched Yu-Gi-Oh! GX, and you want to remain, like, pretty much spoiler-free, then this is not a good episode for you. Please go ahead and watch one of my other videos. This is probably not it. If I ever stop talking about Yu-Gi-Oh! GX, I probably will have, like, a skip to this part when I stop talking about Yu-Gi-Oh! GX, like, right about now. But, if it's not there, then just assume, I'm gonna be talking about Yu-Gi-Oh! GX pretty much the entire episode. Because I don't want to waste your time. I don't want you to, like, be hoping that I'm gonna stop talking about it, and I just, like, don't stop talking about it for the entire episode. I want to, like, tell you now, hey, I may or may not be talking about Yu-Gi-Oh! GX for the entirety of this episode. But, yeah. Really good show. I'm up to, like, episode 50. I just got past, like, all that, like, Rise of the Legendary Beast stuff, and I think it's, honestly, like, the Legendary Beast part was one of my favorite, episodes. Obviously, it's multiple episodes. It's like a 2-part special. And that brings me to another point, which is, like, I was not expecting the amount of, like, 2-part, like, multiple-part specials they were going to do in the show. Because I feel like it's, like, 1 or 2 every 10 episodes. Like, every 10 episodes, I would say at least 40% of the episodes are part of, like, specials that are multiple parts. Which feels strange that there's, like, so many multiple part specials and almost doesn't make it feel as special because I feel like most shows do like 2 or 3 part specials when it's like mid-season finale or like season finale or like at really important points in the season. Meanwhile, I feel like Yu-Gi-Oh! GX just kind of does them like all the time. Like whenever they have an idea that they think is going to take more than 23 minutes, they just go for it. Like there are so many multiple part specials. I believe the Camula one, obviously there's like, I think that's her name, Camula. Camula, it was crazy to me, because that was literally a 3-part special. And like, they do a lot of 2-part specials, but I wasn't expecting the 3-part special for one freaking Shadow Rider. Camula's really cool and all, but I don't know why they gave her a 3-part special. I don't know why they gave her that much screen time. Because quite honestly, like, none of the other Shadow Riders, I don't think any of them really compare to how much screen time Camula gets, besides like, obviously, Professor Banner, because he's, like, a character outside of the whole Shadow Rider saga thing. But, like, you know, Camula, they just, like, really lingered on Camula for a while, which felt weird to me, because, like, why does she get so many episodes and so much attention, and why is she depicted as such a menace, when she's not the first Shadow Rider, and she's not the last Shadow Rider, she's just a Shadow Rider? Like, why do they give so much attention to the second one? Why is the second one depicted as this, like, such a powerful being? Like, why does the second one do the most damage? It just feels weird that, like, you know, you'd think if they were gonna make one super strong, it would be, like, the first one or the last one. It'd be, like, the first one to set the mood of, like, these are what the Shadow Riders are like, they're really scary, or it would be the last one to be, like, super climactic. But, like, and yes, I would say that other Shadow Riders after her put up more of a fight, but at the same time, she fought 3 different people, and she ended up, like, taking the souls of, what is it, Prowler? Why am I not thinking of the Crowler, that's the name. Why am I not thinking of, the title that Crowler has? Is that how you do it? Yes. Yeah, Crowler has some kind of title, like, what do they call Crowler? I don't know. I'm just gonna say Crowler. There's supposed to be a big Pokemon deep beneath Whirl Islands. I wonder what it could be. Is it like Mr. Crowler? Is it like Professor Crowler? Is it Professor Crowler? I feel like it's Professor Crowler now that I think about it. Yeah, so Professor Crowler, she took down Professor Crowler, she took down Zane, and then she fought Jaden. Like, how come this girl literally took down 3 people when she is only the second Shadow Rider? I'm trying to think, are there any more Shadow Riders that did any more damage than her? Because I feel like she did the Shadow Riders a great service. Like, she took 2 keys. Did anyone else take 2 keys? she definitely, like, took the most time to take keys, right? Like, that's definitely the case. Oh, see in Wood City, I'm here. Photo studio, okay. Take a snapshot as a keepsake. Huh. Okay, so I'm gonna explore this route some more, because I feel like there's probably gonna be more trainers on it. I don't know what the levels are looking like in terms of the gym. Like the gym that's here, I don't know what his levels are, what the levels are like in that gym, in terms of, like, the trainers and, of course, the gym leader. But I feel like I might need to do a little, I'm just gonna do, like, a little bit more training in the form of, like, looking down this route to see if there's any more trainers that I can fight, and if there aren't, then I'll just come back and, like, do that, to the gym. But, yeah, I'm just gonna, like, leave for now and see if there's any more trainers to fight on this, like, current branch off of this route, because I know this is a big route, I've drawn attention to it before, but there are, but, like, this seems to be the way I need to go at this point in the game. Obviously, there are other ways I can go on this route, but this seems to be the way I'm supposed to go now, which I did not know. I just traveled straight down, when I went on this route before, but I didn't know that the place I needed to go was actually right here. So, it was just this way, it was just, like, down the first branching path, so, there's another example of, like, this route being just super confusing for no reason. But apparently I just needed to go this way instead of all the way down, as I did in the previous episode. So, boulders to the north of town can be crushed. They may be hiding something. Your Pokemon could use Rock Smash to break them. If I had Rock Smash, which I don't think I do, but I will be getting it, I assume, pretty soon, because, why else would they be mentioning it, and why else would there be all these rocks around? But yeah, I actually have more repels that I can put on, which would be good, because, you know, one is off. The one I have put on now is now, run out, so, and, obviously, as I said, lots of encounters in this, lots of encounters around here, lots of encounters in the water, like, very high encounter rates comparatively to I feel other Pokemon games, so, good that I have more repels that I can use. I'm gonna use another one right now. But yeah, Camula, I do really like the design of Camula. I think she's really cool. I love, especially, when, like, her mouth comes open, and it's, like, because normally she's, like, really pretty. Like, obviously, she's designed to be pretty, right? She's designed in a way where, like, you look at her, and it's, like, okay, yeah, like, you know, it's not something that I necessarily find attractive, but, like, she's a character where you look at her, and you understand why people would. You know, like, I don't necessarily find the vampire lady attractive, but I understand why people would, because she's just designed in a way where I think you're supposed to get that idea from her. Like, even if you personally do not think she's attractive, I feel like she's the kind of character where you look at her and it's like, that's objectively attractive. She's objectively designed in a very attractive type of way. At night, Staryu gather near the water's surface. So I think it's really cool how they sort of, like, drop that attractiveness and reveal what a monster she is when she, like, unhinges the jaw and the tongue comes out. Because then she's, like, no longer attractive, then she just looks really weird. So I like that. I like that idea of, like, she looks attractive and, like, she looks attractive, she looks alluring, like she's alluring, like she's, like, luring her victims in, you know, like, I feel like that's kind of like a, that's something that's like a trope of a lot of vampires, like female vampires, is they're, like, attractive to lure people in. And then obviously, like, she drops that, and then you realize, like, she's not the beautiful woman that she appears to be, when, like, the jaw unhinges and she looks like a freaking viper with, like, a long tongue. Like, that definitely shows that she's not more of a monster than she originally appeared to be, and I think that's cool. Yeah, I do like Camula. I do like Camula design-wise. I think, like, the voice acting and just the general acting of her was good. I like the way that she was portrayed. I just like her as a character. But, like, I don't understand why she was given so many episodes, because, like, not even, like, the last Shadow Rider. The first Shadow Rider didn't get a 3-part special. What is it, like, Nightshade, Night Shroud, one of those? Obviously it actually turned out to be Atticus, but, like, he had a name. I just forget what it is. It had night in it, I'm sure. Oh dear. The clusters of Staryu light up at the same time. It's so beautiful, it's scary. I fully thought, because they had, like, the card that, like, absorbs people's souls if they lose, I fully thought that, Secret about Whirl Islands. Okay, yeah, I've read this guy's dialogue before. I fully thought that, like, since they had the card that was, like, a part of that battle, hold on, Cammy's calling me. Alex, good evening. It's me, Cammy. Got a minute? How are your Pokemon doing? My Hypno's really energetic. It's a handful. Oh yeah, I managed to beat a tough Nidorino. I need to make my party stronger. See you later. Okay, bye, Cammy. Yeah, I fully expected, because obviously, in that first Shadow duel they had with the first Shadow Rider, who was actually Atticus, they had, like, the loser's soul got trapped in the card, so I fully expected that that Atticus's soul was going to be trapped in the card, and that was going to be, like, a real struggle to try to get it out. Like, I fully expected that it was just going to be, like, another instance of Alexis losing her brother, because obviously they've been searching for her brother for a while, and I thought that, because he had, like, Shadow Dueled like that, with the card, that steals the soul of the person who loses, and he lost, I thought that, like, when they revealed that it was Atticus, that his soul was gonna end up in the card, but actually it didn't end up in the card. What ended up in the card was, like, the mask that he had on as a Shadow Rider, like his Shadow Rider mask. And that's very strange to me, because he said at the start of the battle that the loser's soul would be taken into the card, but his soul wasn't taken, instead it was just, like, his mask, so I'm wondering like, if his mask had a soul in it, because originally I thought that, like, you know, the mask was, well, because, like, when it was first revealed that he was, like, evil, I wasn't guessing that, like, he'd been turned evil. I was guessing that, like, the mask was, like, controlling him or something, but, like, I didn't account for the fact that, like, maybe, I didn't think that, like, oh, the mask has some, like, demon attached to it, or, like, spirit that is, like, possessing him. I thought it was, like, just the mask turning him evil, but I didn't realize that, like, maybe the mask has a soul in it, and his body's being possessed by another soul right now, but that must be what it is, right? Like, because it didn't take his soul, it took a mask, which tells me that the mask itself is a soul, or it is, like, emblematic or symbolic of a soul that is possessing him. So, actually, it wasn't really him fighting, it was a soul that was in control of his body, and so, when he lost the duel, actually, it wasn't him losing the duel, it was the soul that was possessing his body losing the duel, and that's why the mask got put in the card instead of him, because it stole the soul of the mask that was controlling him, or, like, the mask that was emblematic of the spirit controlling him, and not him. So that was interesting to me. You look so elegant, riding your Pokemon. It looks like a Lapras, but it is actually not, I assure you, man. But, yeah. Obviously, Nightshroud or Nightshade or whatever his name was, only got 2 episodes. Friggin', like, Professor Banner, Nightshade or Nightshroud, the first Shadow Rider, only got 2 episodes. Professor Banner, who was the last Shadow Rider, only got 2 episodes. And, like, the leader of the Shadow Riders, who had the legendary beasts, also only got 2 episodes. I was at least expecting a 3-episode special for that one, because it was, like, the climax of this whole, like, saga of the series. It was the climax of the Rise of the Legendary Beast part, because he had the legendary beasts, and he was, like, they were, like, fighting for the fate of the world. I thought that would have been, like, climactic enough to the point where they would have done another 3-episode special for that. But no, the only Shadow Rider who got a 3-episode special was Camula. Some of them didn't even get a 2-episode special. Some of them were just 1 episode, which is crazy to me, that, like, you can see which designs and, like, which characters they preferred, you know? Like, this Shadow Rider got 1 episode, this one got 3. Like, clearly the creators of the show freaking love Camula. They are so proud of that design, and they are so proud of that character, clearly, because, my gosh, was she the only Shadow Rider that they gave 3 episodes to? That's wacky. And, like, I get they wanted to, like, maybe they just wanted to, like, you know, set the mood of, like, things are going to get more intense now. Maybe they whoops, sorry, excuse me. Maybe, like, they didn't want to set the mood of intensity immediately with, Nightshroud. Maybe they wanted to, like, show the, like, maybe they wanted to trick the audience, like, lure the audience and, like, seem to lure Jaden's character into a false sense of security, by making, like, the first Shadow Rider not that tough, and then, like, pull the rug out from both Jaden and the audience by making the second one, like, super tough by comparison. But, and, like, I get that, I guess, but it just feels weird that, like, I hope I take this. I hope I take this. Okay, it just feels weird that, like, no other Shadow Rider gets 3 episodes as Camula does. It feels like we hit a climax with the Shadow Riders, like, at the very beginning of, like, the whole Shadow Rider saga with the second one, and then every other one after that is, like, so much less climactic. I think that the scene where, like, she's just sacrificing people's souls is freaking crazy, because, thanks for the crit, Lugia, my gosh. I think that the scene where she's sacrificing people's souls is crazy. Like, when she's, like, obviously, like, she says she's, like, sacrificing souls to the Soul Gate, and I think that's a really interesting way of, like, turning things up, like, turning up the heat, because, in the first battle that she did, the battle with Crowler, she didn't do that at all, and then you, like, go into the second episode with her in it, and you're expecting, like, a similar idea. You're expecting, like, the same sort of battle again, but this time it's with Zane instead of Crowler, but instead, it's actually, like, pretty different, and then, like, obviously, Zane doesn't actually lose, he forfeits. That's the thing, is that, like, it feels different because it's not Camula just, like, beating another person. It's not like Camula beating Zane like she did Crowler in the last episode. It's like Zane forfeits because Camula is trying to steal Cyrus's soul, and if Zane wins, Cyrus's soul gets sacrificed to the Shadow Gate. So, it, like, obviously, Camula has the same deck each time she battles, but she battles differently with it each time. And I think the introduction of the Shadow Gate as a, like, you lose either way, type of gambit, like, doomed if you do, doomed if you don't type of thing, where she's like, if you beat me, then, if you lose to me, I get your soul. If you beat me, I get Cyrus's soul. Like, that's crazy that she can just do that, and I think that doesn't really... That's a battle with such high stakes that, like, no other Shadow Rider battle ever, like, lives up to that afterwards. I'm crushed. Because, like, unlike all the other Shadow Rider battles, like, this one has 2 souls on the line. And not only that, like, it's also 3 episodes. It's a 3-episode special, as I've said before, which makes it even more climactic. So it's a battle with 2 souls on the line. I think the Zane and Camula battle is just crazy. That's, like, one of my favorite battles in the entire series so far. Wasn't there a hit song about a boy riding a Lapras? Maybe. But yeah, I think that's such a just, like, cool idea to be, like, to have it, like, either way, even if you win, you lose type of thing. See those islands that are blocked by whirlpools? There just has to be a secret. And I don't think that, and, like, no other Shadow Rider, absolutely no other Shadow Rider lived up to the amount of, like, screen time Camula had, besides, obviously, Professor Banner, but Professor Banner got screen time, not as a Shadow Rider, but, like, got more screen time not as a Shadow Rider, but just, like, as a person, just as a teacher. Like, no other Shadow Rider absolutely lives up to the amount of screen time that Camula has, and debatably, no Shadow Rider lives up to the, like, high stakes of the battle that Camula has. Camula is just, like, the climax of, like, it's just an early climax of the Shadow Rider saga, and I don't understand that. I don't understand why they didn't tone it down a little, because, my gosh, does it make every Shadow Rider after that seem just, like, pathetic and, like, weak by comparison. Because, literally, like, she could have taken every single key. Like, the Shadowgate thing, as long as she drew Shadowgate, she won. Because no one would want to... No one would want to, like... no one would want to win. You know, like... every character at the... Like, if she can just put everyone's soul at ransom, then not only can she eliminate... Not only is she, like, making it so the people with the keys don't want to win, but she can actually threaten 2 people's keys at once by saying, okay, if you, this person with the key, loses, then I get your soul and I get the key. If you win, and I lose, then, like, I get that person's soul and their key. right? Like, she could have put them in, like, a checkmate type of scenario, where, like, either way, she gets a soul and a key. But the thing is, Cyrus didn't have a key, so, like, the first time she didn't do that, which I think was kind of dumb, because she could have made it so she got a key either way. But it just so happened that what she did worked, and, Zane was a good enough brother that he himself at giving her the key, so that, Cyrus's soul would not be taken. What's the secret to your strength? Because obviously, it was a dark and stormy night. I saw this giant Pokemon flying from the islands. It was scattering feathers from its silver wings. Interesting, so that sounds like Lugia, which I actually have. So that's funny, that he's talking about this Pokemon that he saw. And he's talking about it as if it's some, like, crazy thing that no one's ever seen before, but I just have one. But, yeah, like, if Zane had, like, not purposefully lost, and he had won, then she would have just gotten, like... First of all, well, I guess... Okay, so if Zane had won, then Cyrus would have just... Cyrus's soul would have been taken, and I guess Camula would have been stopped? Question mark? Because it seems like after all the Shadow Riders are beaten, they just cease what they're doing. So actually it was a much better idea to, like, let Cyrus go. Because then she would have neither gotten a Spirit Key, nor been able to come back. Because, obviously with this Gambit, she's hoping that, by saying that she's gonna sacrifice, Cyrus to the Shadow Gate, she's hoping that it makes Zane not want to win, and so Zane loses on purpose, and then she gets the Spirit Key. But, actually, what was I saying? Okay, she's hoping that he loses on purpose, and she gets the key, but, like, if he had just, like, won, if he just continued on and won, then, obviously, Cyrus's soul would have been sacrificed instead, she wouldn't have gotten a key, and then she would have just, I guess, left. She would have been gone. I mean, I feel like... Will the Shadow Riders come back? Is that a thing that can happen? Like, I feel like all the Shadow Riders were just kind of, like, disposed of. Like, they all challenged them to Shadow Duels, except for, like, Tanya, I believe was her name. And so they all, like, once they lost, they were gone for good. But, like, if they didn't do that, like, if a Shadow Rider didn't challenge them to a Shadow Duel, or, like, if a Shadow Rider didn't challenge them to a Shadow Duel in which, like, they die or their soul gets taken if they lose, does that mean they could just, like, come back and try again for the key? Like, theoretically, if they didn't get their soul taken, like, if Nightshroud didn't get his soul taken, would he have just come back and, like, tried again? I feel like that's not how it works, right? I feel like there wouldn't be so many Shadow Riders if they could just, like, send in the same one over and over again. Because then they just wouldn't even put their soul on the line. Then they would just be like, okay, I'm gonna win, and if I don't win, then I'll just come back later. Because, like, there would be no reason to put their soul on the line, because then that would ensure that they just had, like, one attempt. If they already had only one attempt, though, regardless of whether it was a Shadow Duel or not, of course they would do a Shadow Duel. So I'm guessing that, like, either way they have one attempt. Like, I'm guessing that even though Camula didn't put her own soul on the line, even though she put Cyrus' soul on the line instead, if Zane beat her, she still would have had to leave. I'm guessing that's how it is. But yeah, like, theoretically, she could have just kept doing this, like, whole, if you win, I sacrifice this person's soul, and if you lose, I sacrifice your soul. Right? She could have just kept doing that. If Jaden did not get that, like, charm from, like, the Gravekeeper segment, that Gravekeeper episode thing that happened, like, a little while ago. Which, honestly, is, like, just, like, plot armor in the most, like, completely obvious way, because it just, like, you know, it's just so, like, plot armor convenient, you know? It's, like, of course, you went on this, like, you went and did this thing that resulted in you getting this charm, only for you to need this charm, like, 5 to 10 episodes later. I don't remember how much later it was, but it's, like, it's not even that much later, to the point where, like, the audience would forget about it. It's like, oh, he got this charm, I wonder if that's gonna come in handy, and then it just, like, does. It's like, thank goodness he got that charm, so, like, thank goodness he recently got this charm, otherwise, Camula would have just, like, could have just kept on, like, getting Shadowgate, and, like, sacrifice, and saying, I sacrifice this soul if I lose, and, if I win, I get your soul. She could have just kept on doing that if it hadn't been for Jaden randomly getting that, little charm that he got. Yeah, I found the place I need to go, and I went down the path that I was saying I was going to, but I kind of want to see what else is on this route that I can access now, so that when I eventually have to come back here, because I found out I do have to come back here, I do have to get Whirlpool, and then come back, because I can't get past the... Do I have to get Whirlpool? Or can I just, like, do this gym and then leave? Because I think there's a gym in this... in Seagonwood. There's, like, Chuck's gym, right? Do I need to do that to get the medicine? I don't know. I'm just gonna explore around and see if I can, like, go anyplace else. I can explore anywhere else. And just gonna explore around, see if I can, like, fight any more trainers, get any more items that I might need before I go challenge the Seagonwood gym. Or, like, do whatever I need to do in Seagonwood. Because I feel like there are a couple spots where I have yet to explore, and obviously I haven't seen what happens if I go all the way down. Like, until I can no longer be stopped in that direction. So, anyway, I mean, I think that obviously Camula got the most attention, like, out of all the Shadow Riders. Obviously, like, she got the most screen time, she got the most episodes in her, like, little segment of trying to get the Shadow Keys. And I think she had the most success. Like, it makes sense that she would have the most success if she had the most screen time, because that would mean that she probably battled the most people, and therefore she got the most keys. I'm trying to think, because there are 7 Shadow Riders, and I think there are, like... Are there 7 keys? Because I'm trying to think. Jaden got a key, I'm trying to think, actually, what Pokemon should I swap in here, because Juan is not good to be fighting the, like... Judy. Judy is the one that I should be having in front right now. Juan is not good to be fighting the Seals, because they have Ice Beam. I'm trying to think, because, like, Jaden got a key, Chaz got a key, British guy got a key. I don't remember what British guy's name is. What is it? Bastion. So, Jaden got a key, Chaz got a key, Bastion got a key, frickin' Professor Banner got a key, Professor Crowler got a key, Zane got a key, Alexis got a key, and, did I say? Hold on, let me just do it in order of, like, age, because that's less confusing. So, you have Jaden, Chaz, Bastion, Alexis, Zane. Yeah, Jaden, Chaz, Bastion, Alexis, Zane. And then I think that's all the children, and then the teachers who have it are Mr. Crowler and Professor Crowler and Professor Banner. See, I think that is everyone who has one. So that is 7 keys and 7 Shadow Riders. So I don't think anyone else got 2 keys, because... First of all, it's crazy that Camula got 2 keys. Because, there's 7 of them. Really, only one of them... Each one of them only needs to get 1 key, really. Because there's 7 of them and 7 keys. But, oh my gosh, I kept Judy in against the Lugia. What am I doing? I'm just not thinking. I'm talking about Yu-Gi-Oh! GX. I'm too busy talking about Yu-Gi-Oh! GX to actually think about what I'm doing. My gosh. Hold on. Let's switch out to Juan instead. Because while we could take another one, theoretically, if it got a crit on us, we would not be able to. So yeah, that's 7 keys and 7 Shadow Riders. So, I think that what that means, obviously, is that, like, if I remember, so that means that, like, Camula got 2, which means that, the fact that they got all the Shadow Keys means that some of them, I guess, were unable to get 1. which now that I think about it, would be Night Shroud, right? Night Shroud instantly lost. Night Shroud lost to Jaden, he didn't get a single key. So then, obviously, Camula getting 2 evens it up, right? Because Camula's the second one, and so they should have 2 keys by now if each one won once. But Night Shroud didn't win his match against Jaden, so now Camula is making up for it by getting 2 keys, rather than 1, because if Night Shroud had gotten 1, and she had gotten 1, then that would have them with 2. But Night Shroud hadn't gotten 1, so she's getting 2 to even it up. So that makes sense, actually, from a plot standpoint, as to why they gave her a chance to get another key, as to why they threw in that extra battle before she lost. Like, obviously, I feel most of them follow the... I don't know if most of them, but, like, some of them I feel follow the pattern of, like, I beat this person, I get their key, then I try again to get another key, and I lose, right? So Camula, that didn't happen. Camula actually got 2 keys before she lost, which makes sense because they wanted Night Shroud to lose his first match against Jaden, so that it could, like, Jaden could get off on, like, the right foot. It could be like, you know, like, this is not so bad, and, like, convince the audience and Jaden that, like, these Shadow Riders will be a piece of cake, and then, like, so that's why I guess they made Night Shroud lose instantly, rather than taking a key, then like, losing. And I guess, like, obviously, if he had fought Jaden, right? So if he had, like, won his first match, then Jaden's soul would have been taken, and they just couldn't have that happen, because Jaden obviously had to be the last one, the last one left. Obviously, that ended up happening at the end of the saga with, like, Professor Banner just picking off who remained, and, like, getting the rest of the keys that the Shadow Riders failed to get. Good evening, Alex. This is Pi. Were you awake? Do you want to battle? I'm going to win this time. I'll be waiting for you around National Park. Look for me, okay? Bye-bye. But yeah, like, Professor Banner, actually, obviously I said, like, theoretically, 7 of them, there's 7 Shadow Riders and 7 keys, so theoretically, they could each get 1, and I feel like a bunch of them, like, a few of them did get 1 and then lose. I'm trying to think. How many Spirit Keys did they get, actually? Because Night Shroud didn't get 1. First of all, who were the 7? So there was Night Shroud, there was, Camula, there was Tanya, there was, like, the Thief Detective guy, there was, the Pharaoh guy, obviously Professor Banner, and there was one more that I'm forgetting, obviously before Professor Banner. I don't remember who it was. But, did the Pharaoh guy get a key? Actually, I feel like not a lot of them actually got keys. Camilla got 2 keys. And I don't think, like, I feel like some of, now that I'm thinking about it, I feel like some of them, certain ones struggled to get 1. Like, the Pharaoh guy didn't get 1, Night Shroud didn't get 1. So maybe I'm wrong in my assumption that, like, a bunch of them got 1, then lost. I feel like actually that was just like a Tanya thing. Tanya got 1, then lost. But I feel like the real heavy hitters here were Tanya, well, Tanya got 1, that's good, but, like, the real heavy hitters were Camilla and Professor Banner, right? Like, okay, so I've talked to this guy, I've gone down this way before. Oh yeah, this is where I was going before. Okay, so I'm just gonna, like, check, I guess, go in the direction I was going before and see if there's, like, any more stuff I can find down here, before getting Whirlpool and, like, being able to go down lower. Any more stuff I can find, any more trainers I can fight, you know, the whole shablama. Whole shablama? What the heck does that even mean? I don't know. Yeah, like, I feel like now that I think about it, Tanya was one of the only ones that actually got 1. The Pharaoh guy didn't get any, because he just instantly lost to Jaden. Most of them instantly lost to Jaden, actually. That's crazy to think about. The Pharaoh guy instantly lost to Jaden. He didn't get 1. Night Shroud instantly lost to Jaden. Didn't get 1. Actually... Oh, wait, okay, so... Yeah, now I remember the other one. The one that I was forgetting was the guy who was, like, at the abandoned dorm. That guy that, like, Crowler hired. that Alexis fought. Yeah, so Alexis, well, I shouldn't say most of them got beaten by Jaden and didn't get one. Beaten by Jaden instantly and didn't get one. Because actually, the detective guy got beaten by Chaz instantly and didn't get one, and the guy at the abandoned dorm got beaten by Alexis instantly and didn't get one. So there were more that got beaten instantly and didn't get one than not. You know? Like, most of them actually did get beaten instantly and didn't get one, which just goes to show that, like, when Chancellor Shepard decided to make, who he did, the Guardians of the Spirit Keys, he was correct. Like, he was correct in who he picked to be the Guardians, because they did a great job. Like, most of these Shadow Riders actually didn't get any. Nightshot didn't get any, the guy at the dorm didn't get any, the guy at the abandoned dorm didn't get any, the detective guy didn't get any, the Pharaoh guy didn't get any. So, in summary, that's 4 that didn't get any out of 7. Most of them, literally most of them, did not get any. Which, actually, when you think about it like that, they were doing a great job at keeping the Spirit Keys safe. Obviously, like, some were lost just because you had crazy people like Camula who were just wreaking havoc on their, on their team over there. But, yeah, they actually did a pretty good job at guarding these things. And it just, like, Camula got 2. Camula, then, Tanya got 1. Who else got 1? Wasn't there another person that got 1? Or was it literally just, like, they got 3, and then the other 4 were taken by Banner? Did Banner take most of them? That's crazy if I'm, like, if I'm correct. I'm gonna go through them in my head. So Night Shroud got 0. Then you had Camula, who got 2. Then you had Tanya, who got 1. Then, the detective guy got 0. The Pharaoh got 0. The guy at the abandoned dorm got 0. So, and then Professor Banner got the rest. So literally, yeah, that's 3 before Professor Banner. Professor Banner got more than anyone else combined. Professor Banner got most of them. Everyone else got 3, he got 4. Which is actually wacky. Well, he didn't get 4 because he didn't get Jaden's. No, he didn't. Yeah, he did not get Jaden's, so he got 3. Did he get 3? Or am I misremembering? Did someone else lose one another way? Because I know he beat Alexis, yeah. Alexis, like, went into the woods, and then Banner beat her. And Banner also beat Chaz. Let's actually do it this way. Who got beaten? So, Jaden did not get beaten ever. Chaz got beaten by Banner. Bastion got beaten by Tanya. So those 2 are both lost. Alexis got beaten by Banner. Zane got beaten by Camula. Crowler, oh, yeah, okay, now it makes sense. Of course, so he beat 2 people, actually. So there were 3 of them that the Shadow Riders took. That's why it didn't make sense in my head, because he already had one. He didn't need to beat 3 people. He already had the one that he had, because he's him. So, that's why it didn't make sense in my head. Okay, so they got 3. He actually did not get as much as the other ones combined. He technically did. Well, he got as much as the other ones combined. When I said he got more than the other ones combined, I was incorrect. He got as much as the other ones combined. Technically, he took less. He took as much as Camula. Because Camula beat Crowler and Zane, and he beat Alexis and Chaz. So they both beat 2. However, he got more because he was given a spirit key from the beginning. So he actually already had one, so he ended up having 3. Even though he only beat 2 people, Camula obviously didn't have one to begin with, so he actually ended up with more than Camula, because he had 3 of them. Well, he had one to begin with, so he ended up with 3. They both took 2, but he already had one, so he ended up with 3. So actually, yeah, he did have as many he did get as many spirit keys as the other ones did get combined. But I was wrong in my assumption that he got more than them, because I forgot that no one ever took Jaden's. Jaden, obviously, Banner beat Alexis and Chaz, and then Jaden was the only one left with a key, but then Jaden won. Just go, like, think of what to go on this, think of what to go for on this War Turtle. I feel like Submission's not gonna kill, right? This thing, there's no way that thing has enough health that, like, the recoil is gonna kill me from where I am. I don't want to waste potions. I also don't want to, like, even if the submission recoil isn't gonna kill me, I don't want to chance it, and, like, I don't want to, like, risk putting myself so low that if he lives the submission somehow, I don't know, low roll or something, then he can kill me. But I think we're fine? Okay, now we're not fine. Now I'm not gonna go for it. But, I think if we had taken it, if we had, like, done the submission... Actually, I only took off 2 health. I feel like I'm chancing it way too much. I feel like this is way too risky when I can just heal. Let's just heal. So let's just go down to our hyper potions right over here. And, yeah. So actually, it wasn't... They actually were not doing too badly. They were in a pretty good spot because they were still... well, to their knowledge, 4 Shadow Keys remaining. In reality, 4 Shadow Keys remaining that the Shadow Riders didn't have. In reality, only 3, because they thought that Professor Banner's Shadow Key was Spirit Key was safe, but in reality, it wasn't safe because he was a Shadow Rider. So they thought that there were 4 that were still safe. Actually, there were only 3, but that's still pretty good. But yeah, that's kind of, like, dirty. I would say they still did a really good job at protecting these Shadow Keys. If, like, first of all, no one ever got all of them. They actually, like, even though the Legendary Beasts were summoned, that's not because Jaden lost. Jaden never lost. No one ever got Jaden's Spirit Key. So, Jaden obviously did an exceptional job because no one ever got his. But, obviously, Camula could have taken all of them if Jaden didn't get lucky and had that charm with him. But... Is there any... I've gone this way. Oh yeah, I've gone this way. Actually, yeah, I've gone this way. I came from that way, actually. So is there a way to go down here, or have I reached the edge of this route, finally? Have I explored this entire route? Have I finally been everywhere in this route that I can be? Checked all these branching paths? Been down all of them? And all it took was me talking about Yu-Gi-Oh! For, like, 50 minutes? Or am I just gonna go over here, and is there gonna be another path down? If there's another path down, I'm gonna be so, like... I'm gonna be going crazy. There might be another path down. But yeah... actually they did a really good job at protecting these Spirit Keys. Especially because, like, they really had no way of knowing that one of them was already, what is it? Like, when you own something? Already in the, whatever. One of them already was in, yeah, I can't say it without saying that word. What was the word? What is the word I'm thinking of? Already in the ownership. That's not the word, but, like, you get what I'm trying to say. Already in the ownership, especially considering one of them was already in the ownership of a Shadow Rider, and they didn't know it. They did a good job of protecting these things. And the fact of the matter is, like, yes, Camula had more episodes, but, Banner actually put in just as much work, which is crazy to think about when you think about the fact that, like, he wasn't even, like, he's a good guy. Actually, legitimately, Chancellor Shepard was really correct to give the spirit keys to the people he did, because, like, the person who took the most spirit keys was tied with Camula, but, like, one of the people who took the most spirit keys, not Camula, but the other one, the other person who took 2, was actually someone he elected to, like, to watch over the spirit keys. So actually, debatably, the Shadow Rider's strongest fighter was one of the people he elected to watch over the spirit keys. So Chancellor Shepard did a great job at picking out who was going to watch over these things, because the Shadow Rider who did arguably the most work to, honestly, the most work, because he ended up with 3. I get that having it isn't, like, a lot of work or anything, but technically it is some work. Like, he got 3, which is more than anybody else. Like, the person who put the most work in to, the Shadow Rider who put the most work into getting all the keys actually was not even on the Shadow Rider's side. He was a guy who was elected to watch over the keys. So Chancellor Shepard, very good judgment giving the keys to the people that he did, because he actually gave, well, I guess bad judgment because he gave a Shadow Rider a key. But, like, he clearly chose good fighters, because the person who got the Shadow Riders the most keys was actually someone that he elected to watch over the keys. And obviously, he only got the Shadow Riders the most keys because he already was given one, because he was, like, tied with Camula. But I would argue that, like, because he was tied with Camula, but, like, aside from that, like, you know, he got 2, Camula got 2. But, like, I would still say that, like, yes, Camula had the highest stakes because she had that Shadowgate card, which is completely unfair, by the way, that you could just sacrifice any person's soul. Like, oh, if I lose, that person just dies. It's like, they're not even putting their own soul on the line, they're putting someone else's. Like, if I lose, that random stranger's soul is just taken. I'm sacrificing that random person's soul if I lose. It's like, well, why wouldn't you do that? It's like, if that's the punishment for using the card, if it's, like, such a strong card that, like, you have to sacrifice something to use it, like, if that's what you have to sacrifice to use it, some random person's soul, not even your own, like, why wouldn't you use it? Like, that's not even really a punishment, just an added effect. Like, that's not even really a drawback of the card, that's actually more of, like, an evil additional award, reward of using the card. Like, not only is it a super strong card, but you can also just say, actually, I'm not sacrificing my own soul to use it, like, I'm not sacrificing my own soul to use it, I'm sacrificing someone else's soul. Like, I'm not even gonna pay the price for using this. No, someone else has to pay the price for me using it. It makes no sense, and it's so, like, twisted and evil that this card exists, and it does what it does, because it just, like, that's so crazy that, like, it's like, oh yeah, this card is super OP, the Shadowgate needs a sacrifice, but you don't have to sacrifice yourself, you can just sacrifice any random schmuck to use it. It's like, you don't even pay the price for using this, like, crazy card. You can make someone else pay the price for you deciding to use it. It doesn't make any sense, but boy is it, like, boy did it make that battle, like, frickin', boy did it make the, like, Camula stuff freaking crazy and, like, really intense. But yeah, like, I would say, like, obviously Camula had the most, what is it? The most, what's the word? The highest stakes for her battle, but I would say, for her battles, but, like, I would definitely say that, what's his name? Professor Banner. I've been talking for so long, I'm starting to forget what, like, my brain is starting to turn to mush. That happens when I talk a lot about one subject, my brain starts to turn to mush, and then I can't orchestrate my thoughts correctly. But yeah, like, while she may have had the higher stakes on her battles, I think, like, Professor Banner was definitely the better battler, and, like, he just had a really good deck. And I think that first of all, he's the better battler, so I think. Second, he had a better deck. So, like, I think, yeah, his battle was, like, more interesting from a, like, solely battle standpoint. However, obviously, Camula's battles were made a lot more interesting by the fact that, like, she had those high stakes to her battles. But yeah, like, I obviously, I watch Yu-Gi-Oh! GX for a lot of reasons. I think it's a really good show. Like, one of my favorite parts about Yu-Gi-Oh! GX is just seeing, like, the strategy that goes into, like, all the fights. And I think that, like, watching, Banner, obviously, like, Camula's whole, like, high-stakes matches, and, like, what made them high-stakes made her battles, like, really entertaining. But I think that from a, like, strictly, watching them battle and seeing how they battle standpoint, Banner's fights were much more interesting. Well, Banner's fights, well, I guess, you didn't see most of his fights, you only saw the one with Jaden. But, like, his fight with Jaden was much more interesting. And I think it's really wacky how, like, Camula, it took her 3 episodes to steal 2 keys, but Professor Banner stole 2, well, it didn't take her 3 episodes to steal 2 keys, it took her 3 episodes to steal 2 keys and lose. Actually, it took Banner the same amount of time to steal 2 keys and lose. But, because, but, like, it took Camula 1 episode to lose, and it took Professor Banner 2 episodes to lose, so clearly he put up more of a fight. But, what do I switch to? All my Pokemon are looking, like, disgusting on health, honestly. I guess Judy, because Judy can take an Ice Beam for this range. Yeah, they both took 3 episodes to get 2 keys and lose, but that's only because Professor Banner took longer to lose. Professor Banner actually got 2 keys in 1 episode, while Camula got, it took her 2 episodes to get 2 keys. And honestly, like, even in the context of, like, the world of the show, Camula took much more time to get her 2 keys because it took her 2 days. I think. It may have even taken her longer. I don't know how quickly she came back, or, like, how quickly they challenged her again. I guess she didn't come to them. They, like, stormed her castle thing that she established on the water somehow. There was, like, they just looked out on the water and suddenly there's, like, a vampire castle. I don't know how that happened, but, like, you know, I feel, if I was a student there on that island, I'd find it a little suspicious that suddenly there's an island with a giant vampire castle next to our islands where we're learning, but that's just me. I don't know how she did that. I don't know how, like, must have gotten some construction workers in fairly quickly. While they were battling, she made a castle. While she was battling Crowler, the construction workers were just working away. But, like, it definitely did make for a climactic, like, look out into the distance. You see the castle looming over us. Like, that was scary. That was, like, cool and intense. Especially, like, the way she, like, did her evil laugh as they looked out at the castle. They're like, Camula! That was so good. That's the Cianwood City Photo Studio. Okay. Take a snapshot as a keepsake. But yeah, they may have... I just want to kind of finish my thought on Yu-Gi-Oh! I know this episode's going on really, really long. I just want to finish my thought on Yu-Gi-Oh! And then I'll end off the episode. I don't really want to waste any more time talking to trainers or anything, or, like, fighting things. I just want to, like, finish my thought on Yu-Gi-Oh! And then I'll end it off. So, yeah. Like, Camula had, I'm trying to think of some way to entertain you, because I feel like I'm not going on long enough. I'm not going on, like, for much longer to the point where, like, I want to, like, start something, but I am going on enough, like, I'm going on long enough to the point where, like, I feel like if I just stand here, that's gonna get boring. So maybe I should just, like, start something. Maybe I should, like, start the gym. See if I can start the gym right now. You have magnificent Pokemon with you. How about a photo for a souvenir? Sure. Okay, big smile now. Which Pokemon should I photograph? Okay. You should photograph Juan, my girl, here. Alrighty, hold still for a bit. Whoops. Printer error 2. Check the Game Boy printer manual. I guess there's something wrong with my Game Boy. Okay, so that was a bad idea. Oh, no picture? Come again, okay? I wish I could. Believe me, I wish I could take a picture, but there seems to be something wrong with my Game Boy. Yep. My Game Boy. But, yeah. Okay, there doesn't seem to be anything up here besides just a bunch of rocks that I may be able to smash at some point if I can get Rock Smash, but I don't think I have... Do I have Rock Smash? I might have Rock Smash. Let me see. Rock Smash, Rock Smash, Rock Smash. Strength, Surf, Flash, Cut. No Rock Smash. Unless one of the HMs is not in the HM section and just randomly up there in the TM section. You came from Olivine? Do you remember the 4 islands along the way? I heard that a mythical sea creature is hiding in them. those are the Whirl Islands? I guess I didn't realize there was 4 of them. I thought it was just like 1, like the Seafoam Island. Well, Seafoam Islands, I guess, is 2 islands, too. I guess I'm just stupid. It's 1 cave, but it's 2 islands. Like, the cave connects the islands. That's interesting, actually. I never thought about that. The whirlpools around the islands must be caused by the sea creature. Oh, so that's why you need whirlpools, to get to the islands. Like, you can go to... where are we right now? Don't know where we are. I was gonna say Cinnabar, but that's just wrong. That's just straight up incorrect. I heard that you can only see it if you have a silver wing. Sea and Wood, that's the one. It also starts with a C-I and has an A in it, so I don't think I'm that, like, stupid for confusing Sea and Wood and Cinnabar. I feel like that's pretty close. It must have the same scent as the creature. Okay. Let me see if what I can get myself into real quick. I guess just, like, I don't see anything that I could really do. So let me just, like, start the gym. I won't finish the gym in this episode, but I'm gonna start the gym. That's a double battle. Let me heal first. That sounds like a good idea, but, yeah, maybe as I'm healing I can go back to, like, the Yu-Gi-Oh! Talk, but I kind of forgot what I was talking about, so it might take me a while to get back to what I was talking about. It might take me a while to, like, retrace my brain and figure out what I was talking about before I went on my, like, I don't want to end up the episode here tangent. But yeah, like, Camula and Professor Banner may have both taken two, but Camula, that's only because, like, and they may have both taken 3 episodes to take 2 and lose. They may have both taken 2 and lost, but hold on. They may have both taken 2 and lost, but they both... Hold on. They may have freaking... I told you! When I am talking about something for ages, then my brain just melts. They may have both taken 2 and lost in 3 episodes, but actually... But Banner took less time to take 2. Because he actually took more time to lose. Because it took Camula 2 episodes to take 2, and 1 episode to lose, while it took Professor Banner 1 episode to take 2, and 3 episodes to lose. And also, not only did he take longer to, not only did he take a shorter time to take the 2, in terms of, like, the episode number, but he also took a shorter time to take 2, in terms of, like, in the world of the show, because Camula took 2 in 2 days, or however long it took Zane to come back and fight her again after she beat Crowler, and then lose. Meanwhile, Banner took 2 in just 1 day, beating Alexis and Chaz on the same day in the same forest, while Jaden was just looking around for Professor Banner. Not completely unaware of what's going on, by the way. As Chaz and Alexis get their butts kicked and get locked in a book. But anyway, my Pokemon and I are bound together by friendship. Our bond will never be broken. Okay, thanks for that. So yeah, we're just gonna, like, start fighting this guy, and then, if you want to see me fight the rest of this guy, and by that I mean fight this guy at all, because I'm just gonna kind of linger on the text box while I wrap up this episode, then, watch the next one, because I'm ending it off right here. Thank you all so much for watching, EB Clan. Make sure you like, comment, and subscribe. And this is Alex Beyond, signing off.